On the news, Delta Governor Oborevwori announces withdrawal of military from Okwama community. Rivers local government chairman back APC call for impeachment of Fubara. And NLC rejects planned cybersecurity levy by federal government. It's a pleasure to have you join us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Okpeyemi Owosheni. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori of Delta State has announced the complete withdrawal of the military from the Okwama community in the state. The governor discloses during a press conference at the government house in Asaba, implying that the displaced people of Okwama are now free to return to their homes. He also disclosed that the internally displaced persons camp set up by his administration for a smooth and seamless resettlement of the displaced residents is already running. The military are taking over the community after 17 army personnel were gruesomely murdered on the 14th of March 2024 in the Riverine community in the Ughelli South local government area of the state, causing many residents to flee into the creeks and other neighboring communities. With this announcement by the governor, it is expected that the people will begin to return home to rebuild what is left of their community. So security matters now. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed for counter-terrorism operations in the northeast and northwest of the country say they have successfully foiled multiple kidnap attempts, neutralizing terrorist threats and reuniting victims with their families. In Borno State, the troops, in a rapid response to actionable intelligence, had an encounter with ISWAP fighters in Kulukwai village, located in the Ngazi local government area of Borno State. The encounter resulted in the elimination of a terrorist and the seizure of a loaded AK-47 rifle. In a subsequent pursuit, the troops rescued a child who had been abducted by the fleeing terrorist. The lad had been reunited with his father, Alhaji Musa. In another operation in Kaduna State, troops, in their commitment to public safety, swiftly responded to a distress call from Angunu Duse village in Kachia local government area, where residents were besieged by terrorists. The troops promptly arrived at the village and conducted the search and rescue operation, leading to the successful rescue of 6 hostages, including 2 women and 4 children. The hostages were rescued on earth and have been reunited with their families. Still on security issues, the House of Representatives has addressed the escalating insecurity across the nation, particularly focusing on banditry and kidnappings in Enugu, Kaduna, and Abia states. Several motions of urgent public importance were raised, prompting calls for more proactive measures from security agencies. The Minority Leader, Honorable Kingsley Chinda, along with other federal lawmakers, emphasized the urgency of addressing security challenges effectively. The House mandated its Committee on Navy to investigate the circumstances surrounding the alleged torture and subsequent death of Richard Omoagbe, a civil servant in Abia State, who allegedly died at the hands of men from the Nigerian Navy.
The fateful night of March 26, 2024, Mr. Onomebu was subjected to brutal torture for horrifying duration of 5 hours from 8 p.m. to 1 p.m. by 5 naval officers, reportedly summoned by an aggrieved lady who had issues with the deceased. This barbaric act not only robbed Mr. Onomebu of his life, but also tarnished the reputation of the Nigerian Navy and violated the fundamental human rights.
Security in Nigeria will not and never come to an end. Mr. Speaker, between 2015 to 2023, more than 19 trillion naira was spent on security and security-related matters in Nigeria. Whereas we have an alternative where we can bring in mercenaries. It was attempted during President Goodluck Jonathan. They were about to finish Boko Haram, and later on, the new president was convinced and removed them out of the country, and the insecurity keep on escalating.
Also urge the Inspector General of Police to urgently deploy more police officers to the area to complement the ones on ground. Also urge the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Army, as well as the Department of State Security Services, to collaborate and ensure that the culprits involved are brought to book.
The federal government says the bribery allegations by Binance is a diversionary strategy to run away from their wrongdoings. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made this known in a statement issued by his media aide Rabiu Ibrahim on Wednesday in Abuja. According to the minister, the federal government is aware of attempts by Binance to launder its impaired image as an organization that does not play by the rules and laws guiding business conduct in sovereign nations. The minister recalled that a week back, the founder and former CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, was sentenced to prison in the United States after pleading guilty to similar charges to what Binance was being investigated for in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has denied demanding a bribe from the Binance Group following the recent allegation by the cryptocurrency company. This is as the House has also resolved to launch an investigation into the escape of the Binance executive Nadeem Anjarwalla for the National Security Advisor's custody in March. Binance had on Tuesday disclosed that some unknown persons in Nigeria demanded huge payments in digital currency to make their problems in the country go away. The company had pointed out that its representatives were approached after leaving a meeting with the House Committee on Financial Crimes. The Nigerian Labour Congress has described the planned cyber security levy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria on all electronic transactions as another burden on Nigerians. According to a circular issued to various financial institutions, including commercial, merchant, non-interest and payment service banks, the Apex Bank indicated that the levy would come into effect in 2 weeks from May 6th. The levy's introduction has sparked widespread criticism among Nigerians and civil society organizations. Rejecting the policy, the NLC President Joe Ajaero said such deductions directly affect disposable income of workers and further diminish the purchasing power of the common citizen. He said the directive is another gang-up by the ruling elite to continue its extortion and exploitation of helpless workers and the masses. Earlier on, I spoke to Ghazali Abdulaziz, a cybersecurity expert, on the cybersecurity levy. I began by asking him what he makes of the CBN's directive to banks in the country to implement the 0.5% levy on electronic transactions.
Nigerians woke up to that news the day before yesterday, and I also had a reaction about it yesterday. But as far as I'm concerned, I think it is uncalled for and it is unnecessary.
The CBN stated that failure to remit the levy could result in penalties, including fines of not less than 2% of the defaulting business annual turnover. What are your thoughts on the potential economic impact of these penalties on businesses?
The truth of the matter is that the potential economic impact will be very negative. You know, people are expected to react either positively or negatively to circulars. And this is coming probably at the most unexpected time. You see, we have a lot of levy out there already at the bank level, at the other service we enjoyed level. The penalty is not a matter of discussion now. I think the first point of discussion should be whether it is right for the government to charge Nigerian citizens what we call cybersecurity levy. The penalty will definitely come if it is right for us to pay it, and if we fail to pay it, you'll be penalized. So discussing on the penalty, I don't think it is the most important thing for now.
Looking ahead, what do you think are the potential long-term implications of the cybersecurity levy on Nigeria's financial system, economy, and broader efforts to combat cybercrime?
Getting the fund through cybersecurity levy is not sustainable because the act of securing critical infrastructures lies in the operator and the owner of those infrastructures. The federal government needs to look at a sustainable way of combating cybercrime, and they can't do this all alone. The owners of those critical infrastructure, because if you look at one of the significant reasons that was given for this cybersecurity levy was to fund our critical infrastructure protection. You cannot secure our critical infrastructure all alone. You need the private players, the people in the essential sectors, like the banking sector, the telecommunication sector, the health sector. So what the government needs to do is not to concentrate on the funding, because the funding we get, we receive what we call resistance. And that's going to be a showstopper. It's going to be a bottleneck, right? What the government should focus on basically is to say they can pull all these operators in the critical infrastructure sector together and make sure that they put in place cybersecurity measure. Look at what they charge, for example, for every money you get from this service, make sure a particular percentage is a portion for cybersecurity, and not to be saying that the citizens of the country should be paying cybersecurity levy. It is not done. I start to be corrected, but it is not done anywhere in the world.
That was Ghazali Abdulaziz, a cybersecurity expert, giving his opinion on the central bank's decision to implement a 0.5% cybersecurity levy on electronic transactions in the country. To political matters now, the Rivers State chapter of the Association of Local Government Areas of Nigeria, ALGON, has said it supports the call for the impeachment of the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara. The local government chairman also accused Fubara of withholding funds intended for the state's 23 local government areas. According to the state ALGON, the move has deprived them of their roles in overseeing the third tier of government. The caretaker chairman of the All Progressive Congress in the state, Tony Okocha, had urged the State House of Assembly to start the impeachment process against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Meanwhile, Rivers State government has dismissed the impeachment call by the caretaker committee chairman of the All Progressive Congress in the state. The State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Joseph Johnson, who said it in an interview with newsmen in Port Harcourt, said the governor would not allow anybody to throw the state into anarchy. On his part, the leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Chief Edwin Clark, and other prominent individuals in the region have warned the lawmakers against causing anarchy in the state. The crisis between Fubara and his godfather, Nyesom Wike, started last year when the assembly, dominated by Wike's loyalists, attempted to impeach the governor. The two councillors signed a peace pact following the intervention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but they had seemed resumed hostilities as they agreed on the peace pact. To discuss this further, I'm now being joined by political affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you for joining me on the program, Mr. Ojo. Now, the Rivers State chapter of the APC has asked the State Assembly to resume impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And just recently, the State chapter of the Association of Local Government Areas of Nigeria, that's ALGON, also backed the call accusing the governor of withholding local government funds in the state. What do you make of this call?
Thank you. For me, this is a political disagreement, and in this kind of situation, you are going to be seeing all manner of shenanigans. I think Honorable Tony Okocha, acting chairman of APC, didn't act honorably at all. This is not the time to stoke the ember of discord by asking the lawmakers to impeach the governor. That will be a recipe for disaster, anarchy, and bloodletting. And while attempts have been made in the past, which had failed to lay the issues to rest, I think, in my own opinion, and I've granted several media interviews on this, I think people of goodwill, elder statesmen that are outside of Rivers State needs to step in. I'm calling on National Peace Committee, headed by the former head of state, Abdulsalami Abubakar, Bishop Matthew Azan Kuka, people like, Sir Emeka Yaoku, or former Secretary General of Commonwealth, and other eminent Nigerians, people like former head of state, Yakubu Gowon. These are the kind of people I will advise to step in, because Rivers is the treasure base of Nigeria. When there is a crisis in Rivers, it will affect the economy, it will affect the polity of Nigeria. And we should not allow a descent into anarchy in Rivers State. What Tony Okocha has said is not statemanly at all. Yes, there are differences, political differences are bound to happen. Mr. President has intervened on December 18 last year. Yes, many people said the mediation of Mr. President was one-sided, which gave the camp of Nyesom Wike upper hand, while the only thing that Fubara camp got is that he should not be impeached, or that the impeachment notice should be withdrawn. But the Wike camp also needs to show commitment to peace. Look at it. On more than one occasion now, the State House of Assembly have overridden the veto of the governor. And when you are trying to render a governor to become a toothless bulldog, there is that attempt that the man will want to fight back. As we say in Yoruba parlance, when you chase a goat to the wall, it will turn to face whoever is chasing it. So I think people of good will need to just step in and allow this situation to degenerate into anarchy.
So Governor Fubara recently said the State Assembly does not exist without him and that the Assembly is only functioning because he chose to recognize it. He sort of threatened to withdraw that recognition. Now, briefly, do you think the governor is right? And is he also helping his cause with statements like that, considering the crisis in the state?
Well, he must have been provoked to make that statement. And I think the governor also erred in coming out with that statement because he signed the peace accord where the issue of these 27 lawmakers was also part of the accord, part of the resolution, that their position will not be threatened and that they will be recognized. So in as far as he has, because it was out of the recognition he has for the State House of Assembly that made him to provide alternative place of sitting for them after the chamber was gutted by fire and was demolished by the order of the Governor Sim Fubara. It was because he recognized them that made him to submit or resubmit the list of 9 commissioners that resigned from his cabinet when this crisis got to an end in November, December last year. He recognized the Amewule faction. That's why he wrote to them and renominated those 9 commissioners, 1 or 2 out of which has now resigned again. So if he didn't give them recognition, he would not have gone to them to say, please help me screen and clear these commissioners. But I know this is all politics, so I don't expect it, because if we go by law, it is the Speaker of the State House of Assembly that can even declare a seat of a member vacant. He is the one that can write to INEC to say, this person has ceased to be member of the State House of Assembly, come and conduct by-election. But situation where 27 members...
I'm afraid I have to cut you short because that's how much we can take on the news for now. Political affairs analyst Jide Ojo, many thanks for lending your thoughts on the news. We'll take a break now, but coming up next on the news, Lagos State government wooes foreign investors, says Lagos is ready for business and partnership. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Here's a quick recap of our top stories. Governor Sheriff Oborewori of Delta State has announced the complete withdrawal of the military from the Okwama community in the state. The governor disclosed this during a press conference at the government house in Asaba, implying that the displaced people of Okwama are now free to return to their homes. He also disclosed that the internally displaced persons camp sent up by his administration for a smooth and seamless resettlement of the displaced Okwama residents is already running. We also told you that the Rivers State chapter of the Association of Local Government Areas of Nigeria has said it is ready to back the call for the impeachment of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The local government chairman also accused Fubara of embezzling funds intended for the state's 23 local government areas. According to the state organ, the move has deprived them of their roles in overseeing the third tier of government. The caretaker chairman of the All Progressive Congress in the state, Tony Okocha, had urged the State House of Assembly to start the impeachment process against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, where we have Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi360, dissecting the issues.
In the world of business and its drive to increase the economic growth and consolidate its position as Africa's economic hub, Lagos State government has called on foreign investors, particularly those interested in investing in Nigeria, to consider Lagos as the best destination for their investment. The Lagos State government made the commitment to international investors on Tuesday during the panel session on African infrastructure investment, impacts and returns through the Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Folashade Ambrose Midembem, and our Innovation, Science and Technology counterpart, Tubonso Alake, at the ongoing 2024 U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Dallas, Texas, United States. The state government also expressed readiness to partner with any investor with a strong assurance that the government will provide a conducive and friendly business environment for predictable returns on their investments. Still on business, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has named insecurity and inadequate funding as the 2 major challenges holding back the mining sector from growing in Nigeria, soliciting the Senate's support for increased funding for the ministry. According to a statement signed by Segun Tomori, the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister made a solicitation during the opening session of the investigative hearing of the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals.
We are gathered here with a shared purpose to ask the very tough questions and seek answers, those that will shape the future of this great nation and liberate ourselves from the shackles of oil dependence and even liberate ourselves from insecurity caused by illegal mining. How can we transform our mono economy into a fully diversified economy?
When I came into office about 10 months ago and I unfolded my 7-point agenda, I did say that my vision and objective is to ensure that the solid mineral sector contributes very significantly, and I put a figure of 50% to the GDP at that time. A lot of people scoffed at that figure, thinking it was a mirage. But it is not a mirage if we have all our inputs that are necessary to rejig the sector. The sector can overtake the oil industry in this country. It has that potential. As at the last count, when we signed an MOU with the German company, Geoscan Limited, is a geological survey and data gathering agency or company, and it is world certified. It gave us a minimum of 750 billion worth of solid minerals underground in Nigeria. And that is just a minuscule of the entire potential that we have.
We'll go on a short break and be back with Stock Market Report. Nigeria equities market contained a southward movement on the third weekday of trading, reducing slightly by 4.53%. Now, in the aggregate, 119 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending on a negative note with 14 gainers against 19 losers. The market capitalization stood at 55.56 trillion naira. Now, PZ Courses Nigeria came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10%, closing at 34 naira 20 kobo per share. Followed closely by international breweries at 3 naira 92 kobo per share. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 319 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 8,121 deals, corresponding to a market value of 9.178 billion. Now, compared with the previous NGX trading day, that's Tuesday, May 7th, today's data shows 25% decline in volume, 10% improvement in turnover, but 16% decline in deals. Now, let's take a switch to our foreign equities. Well, reverse is the case, as you can see, for our global stocks, as the UK FTSE and US Dow Jones maintained a northward movement and ended in the bulls, with the UK FTSE at 0.49% and US Dow Jones at 0.23%. Reverse is the case, however, for Japan's Nikkei, as they maintained a southward movement and ended in the bears at 1.63%. Let's take a quick look at our foreign exchange market. The US dollar traded at 1,413 naira 07 kobo on the official market and at 1,445 naira on the black market. The Great British pound traded at 1,740 naira 22 kobo on the official market and at 1,840 naira on the black market, while the euro traded at 1,523 naira 01 kobo on the official market and at 1,540 naira on the black market. Well, on the foreign scene, the United States has suspended the shipment of bombs to Israel last week over fears it would invade the southern Gaza city of Rafah, according to an official, marking the first time in the conflict that President Joe Biden has squeezed military aid to the U.S. ally. Washington ordered the load of 907 kilometers of bombs, and also after Israel had not fully addressed U.S. concerns about a major ground operations, according to a senior administration official. News of the move comes as the White House blasted the unacceptable closure of the Rafah border, crossing with Egypt after Israel sent tanks in earlier on Tuesday, while holding out hope for a ceasefire with Hamas. The passing of weapons marks the first time that Biden had acted on the warning that he gave Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in April that U.S. policy on Gaza would depend on how Israel treated civilians. Finally, on sports, US-based Nigerian coach Michael Essien has rejected an offer from the Nigerian Football Federation to serve as an assistant to new coach George Finidi following contractual disagreement between both parties. Essien, who is the current coach of the US Under-19 coach, also applied for the Eagles coaching job. However, after Federation official chose Finidi as the man for the job, they offered Essien the assistant coach role. It was learned that the NFF offered to pay Essien per match rather than handing him a full contract, which the American-Nigerian snubbed. He confirmed to newsmen that he was approached by the Federation, adding that both parties could not agree on monetary terms. That wraps up our news bulletin on News Now at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Okpeyemi Owosheni. See you next time.